guys, welcome to another WNBF UK podcast. You're here with myself, Leon Mitchell, WNBF Pro, and today I got a special guest. Okay, I got our WNBF UK British champion, figure champion, Hannah Mitchell. Hannah, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hello. Well, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. Literally just, as I said to you previously, that I was previously looking at your Instagram stories and getting inspired. I'm ready to go hit the gym after our interview. So yeah, you've motivated me for that. So I'm fired up. So yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
What are you training today?
I'm training legs.
Oh, nice. I've just finished legs. That's why I'm probably struggling to speak.
Look, guys, she's giving us excuses already, but we're still going to drill her for a million questions. All right. So Hannah, let's kick it off by you telling us a little bit about who is Hannah Mitchell. What do you do? What background do you come from? Give us some insight.
Okay, I guess I can start with like what I do now.
Okay.
Because else we'll be here a while, right? So yeah, right now, so I'm 25, I think. Yeah, 25. Let's be honest, the past 2 years do not count. So I'm 25. I am a cancer research specialist as my job. I also have a side business, which is just as important, and that is my posing business with Healthy with Hannah, posing with Hannah. And yeah, I am also a figure competitor. That's it in a nutshell, really.
Nice. Wow, that's a broad spectrum, man. But that's one of the things I picked up from just looking at some of the stuff that you do. That you do a lot of different things. So you got, as you just mentioned, you got posing with Hannah. You obviously come from a cancer research background. How do you fit it all in? How do you get that work-life balance?
You know what, this is the biggest question I get. Probably every day I get that question. Or like people I work with, they'll always ask like, how do I find the time to go to the gym? Or not even ask, how do I find the time? It's like, oh no, I don't have the time to do that. I'm like, what you do, you actually do. Yeah. You're just deciding not to. I think that's what it is for me personally. The fact that I love every single aspect is the reason that I do it. Like, if I didn't love any of those things, then you wouldn't find the time to do it, would you? Like,
it's true.
So for me personally, like my day starts at around 6:30. I'll like get up. If it's a check-in day, I do my check-in. I spend the first half hour of my day either like some kind of education, but whether that's a podcast or a YouTube. And then I go to work and I work in the lab. It's meant to be 8 till 4:30, but like we've just discussed, sometimes that just does not happen. So I'm very, very fortunate in the fact that my work, they know what I do in terms of the bodybuilding side of things. So when I'm sitting there, like nibbling away at food, like like I'll just be sitting there and it'll be silent and everyone will be doing work and I'll just hear my rice cakes like and I'm like, yeah, just me. Or I get out this massive tub of like salad. I'm like, oh, yeah, don't mind me. Yeah, so I make sure like I do get my food in, even if I'm in the lab like all day, which does happen sometimes. I will nip out for 5 minutes and just yam that food down, like, because to be honest, if I don't, then my brain doesn't work. So it's really benefiting them if they allow me to eat. You get me?
Yeah, because no one likes an aggy person on prep, right? Literally. So yeah.
Not even on prep, bro. Like I just, if I don't eat every 2 hours,
yeah, for real.
Then there's a problem.
Yeah.
And then so I eat my pre-workout meal like around 4 p.m. so that as soon as I finish work, I go straight to the gym, and I don't limit myself. Like I don't give myself a time limit within that gym, because for me, again, this is my time. So from when I started going to the gym, we'll probably get into that, but yeah, the gym for me is just the time that I need to completely detach myself from the normal world.
Yeah,
Like whatever is happening, whatever's happened at work, whatever's happening like in home life, that does not matter in the 2 hours or whatever that I am in the gym. So that's why I don't limit myself within that time, within that environment. And then I get home and I like meal prep, get ready for the next day, and then try and get into bed around 9ish. And I'm getting in a routine at the minute where I actually read a fiction book for like half hour before bed to like wind down. And then do it all again.
That's some, you know, some dedicated routine going on there, and it sounds like you're trying to instill a fixed path, which just allows you just to make sure that you just, you know, stay on track. So that's really cool. So
to be honest,
tell me where it all started then. So how did you, you know, kind of fall in love with health and fitness? How did that come about?
So health and fitness wise, I've always been an active child. Like when I've been dancing since I was 3 years old. Like classes, performing on stage, exams, like that sort of thing, like from such an early age. And then all through primary school, secondary school, I was on the football team, I was on netball, rounders. I played for Wolverhampton girls under 16s.
Oh wow. Hannah's not playing around. Hannah just went through it. Like, wow.
I'm a very good, like, I'm a very competitive person. Like, that's just how I've always been. Like, I just love activity, and I do think naturally I am quite good at sport. So say if I've never done something, like say if I go bowling, like I will get a few strikes still, because I just naturally do have that thing for sport. So yeah, for me it was never difficult for me to like stay active. However, my family and our genes, like I was obese as a kid. Like I was very overweight, and I know people hate it when they say like, oh, it's genetics. Like, there is not a single person in my family that doesn't struggle to keep weight off. It's just one of those things. So, and then that with the fact of my personality, with not necessarily being quiet, kids don't like that. So at school was very difficult for me, and I was bullied about my weight. So when I got to around 16, I started going to the gym, but I was that typical cardio bunny. Like I go to the classes or I just run, and I ended up dropping a hell of a lot of weight, like way too much. I ended up being on like I've done it all, where I've done Slim Fast, like only had shakes like all day, like I've done
that classic mistake, right?
I've done all those silly mistakes. Like I think that's the thing nowadays, that people see competitors and they'll think that it's just been instilled from the get-go to eat healthy and be strong and this and that. And for me, it definitely hasn't. I have made all those mistakes that people are making now. And then when I did get to, like I said, that very, very low weight, I kind of looked in the mirror and I had no boobs, no ass. I was straight up and down. I was like literally a pole, mate. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something about that. And I think one day I went to one of the classes and it was either fully booked or I was late or something like that. So I had to just do something else. So I started going on, like the circuits of machines at a pure gym. Started going on that, and I was like, this is all right, I'm having a bit of fun.
Not bad just doing an arm press.
Well, it was more leg stuff. I was like, right, I'll just go on a leg extension, like
you go with leg
around the shop, no time and attention here. Again, because I am quite a chatty person, I got to know some of the PTs there. They did help me kind of slowly get into it, and they gave me a bit of advice here and there. And like I said, genuinely, it took me years from when I was 16 until I was at uni, so around like 19, 20, until I started doing my own research, like just picking up as much information as I could. I like wrote my own programs. Like when I look at them now, it's so funny. But like I said, everyone starts somewhere, right?
100%. And I think a lot of people can relate to that whole journey of kind of, just doing the typical things of just going in straight with cardio, not knowing much, kind of, dropping the meals down and trying to starve yourself, and then the drastic weight loss. And then, even when you mentioned about just doing the circuits on the machine, because I work in the fitness industry, and I see it all the time. You get often a lot of people coming to the gym and they just do mini circuits on the fixed resistance, and you're like, okay, you need a little bit of guidance. But it is, everyone has a journey in that learning path, right? Until we start to apply it and reach out for the relevant help to move us on.
Well, exactly that. And I think that's the difference for me personally. I think because of my personality, I am so inquisitive. Like when I don't know things, I will go out my way to find out more. And that is the reason why I have been able to kind of get to where I am now. So when I was at uni, I continued going to the gym, but it wasn't, my health and fitness still wasn't a forefront there. I'd be going out, like I was a very, very different person from, well, before the age of around 2021. I was a very, very different person to who I am now. In all honesty, I can look back and hate who I was, which I know sounds very dramatic, but yeah, I wasn't in a good place mentally and physically, and that showed in how I was acting, and so I started going to the gym properly to kind of de-stress for exams at uni for my undergrad degree. So this is where my kind of routine started coming in. So I would revise until 7, and then I'd go to the gym after that to burn myself out so I could sleep at night, basically. And it really did help with just de-stressing. And then for my master's, I then moved to London. So this was where there was quite a good fitness community. And I tried to get involved where I could. I went to like little events and like meetups and stuff like that. And then probably not the darkest moment of my life, because unfortunately there's been a darker one since, but I think the turning point for me was around August 2018. So I was just finishing my master's degree, dissertation, etc. A lot happened in my life at one point, at one time. So my nan got diagnosed with another cancer. Unfortunately, she passed away June just gone. My cousin, who was just my world, she was my inspiration for the career I was going into, the person that I was trying to be. She's incredible, and she got diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, and she was mid-30s with 3 kids, and she was a doctor, honestly, the most incredible woman. And there was just a lot going on. And then my partner at the time, he cheated on me and left me. And then I was also going under some investigations for some medical things, and I was put on hormonal therapy, and all these things just sent me into a hole, basically. I was in the pits of depression, and I actually started going to church. So for me, I've been religious on and off through my life, but I found spirituality within that time. And like I said, I kind of made the decision to not only start going to church again, but the gym was that 2 hours, that an hour and a half of where I could just forget everything.
Yeah.
So I started going a hell of a lot more. And then I moved home, and I said to my mom, I was like, I need to just throw myself into something and just do something for me. Whatever that is, I'm not sure yet, but I just need to be selfish for the next couple of months. So I got a part-time job in a pharmacy, and I started with a coach that Christmas time. And then this was where I still didn't know really anything about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed flicking through Insta, but I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't even think about natural bodybuilding. I obviously was natural, but I didn't realize people took stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you're like, those guys are, they were on stuff? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they're just massive. That creatine is class. I got a coach, and then I was aiming to do a show in September. I started prep with him in the April, and he was like, yeah, so we're going to do a show, and it's in 6 weeks, and you're not going to do bikini, you're going to do tone figure. And I was like, okay. So I got ready for my first show in a 6-week prep.
Yeah.
And I placed second. And I was like, might do this then. Might give this a proper go. And it just...
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, though. I think a lot of people go through a lot of things in life, right? And it challenges us, but at the same time, it gives us the motivation and the inspiration to kind of pull ourselves out of that and find the positives out of dark situations and draw on that strength to propel ourselves to move forward, right? And that's exactly what you just summed up in that whole time frame that you said. You know, you had all of that happening. You came back home and you said you need to be selfish, throw yourself at something, and then you went straight into comp prep. Yeah, you went into a really fast comp prep, but nevertheless, you allowed you to kind of push on, right? Push on.
Honestly, I think that is the thing. So many people, they go through so much that no one realizes at the time. Like, I didn't speak to anyone about all these things at the time. Like, not even my mom knew about everything going on at that time. What's important is how you move from it. Yes. What are you going to do from that moment? You're allowed to feel sorry for yourself. However, what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? Let's fucking go.
Yeah, 100%. Too many people look for excuses not to move forward. It's all about finding the reasons how you're going to move forward, put an action plan and just executing it. You know what I mean? So that's all good. So talk to me about that first prep. Obviously you said it was a really short one, but you know, how did that feel? And you know, give us some insight for that one.
Yeah, so like I said, I joined him. This was a different coach to who I'm with now.
Yeah.
I joined him in the April, and I was in a very good position, like physically. I'd been losing weight myself anyway.
Yeah.
So he was like, right, we'll go. There's this first timer show in 6 weeks. Like, let's give this a go. And like, again, when I am told to do things, like I will not miss a beat. Like I will do it to the T. I did not cheat on my plan. Like, not even, I didn't have any 10 calorie jellies, like anything like that, you know. I didn't miss a step. I didn't miss a second of cardio, like that sort of thing. And went into this PCA first timers and we placed second. And then there was a show 2 weeks later, and basically I came in too lean.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
So we actually went for athletic figure.
Yeah.
But then if you'd seen me in 2019, I mean, even now, I'm not big enough for athletic figure. Like, when you think about PCA, there are people that are assisted, right?
Yeah.
So, but because I'd ended up getting glute striations, we were like, let's go athletic figure. Like, turned up, and I was like, these women are wham. What?
They pack a lot of muscle, right?
Well, the thing is, even though it was first timers, you've got to think the athletic figure women, they were probably around 40 years old. Like, these are women that had been training all their life. They're just had only just decided to compete.
Yeah. And that muscle maturity goes a long way.
Exactly.
But a lot of people don't realize that, you know, if you're slightly older and you've got the muscle maturity, but you only tap into your competitive side of things later on in life, you're still going to be quite lethal, even as a first timer, right?
100%. And like that, like you've just said, that muscle maturity creates a density that's so different when you lean down. You can like obtain that real grainy look. I love it. But as my muscle age was very young, when I did come down, I looked very small. So basically they put me in toned figure on the day. And at the end of the day, I was just too lean for toned figure. So there was that other show 2 weeks later. We decided to like fill up a little bit. And I ended up, and that was 2019 Muscle Talk PCA. And I ended up winning. So that was class.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, that was cool. But then continuing like my first season, I then went for a few shows for September, October, because those were the shows that I was planning to do initially before he was like, nah, you'll be ready in 6 weeks. So we carried on and I ended up losing. So my stage weight in the June was 57 kilo. My stage weight in the September was 51.
Oh.
So bear in mind, they'd already told me I was too lean at 50.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so then I did get pushed up to athletic figure, and it was one of those where at the moment in time when I was changed category, like on the day I literally walked on stage for tone figure. They called my number and were like, nah, get up. Get up. And so I like honestly like feathering in my quads. They were like, please leave. So
but how did that make you feel? Obviously preparing for a show, right? And then you got a category in mind, and then all of a sudden it gets switched on you. You know, like what goes through your mind at that time? Was you panicking, or was you thinking, okay, cool, that works better, I'll just crack on with it?
Within the first 10 seconds, panic, right? Like you've just said, you are prepping for a certain category. You've got something in mind. Like in your head, you're like, I'm gonna win this.
And let's be honest. Everyone, because you know what, a lot of people say, oh, I'm just in it to take part. Like we always prep to win, guys. Come on, let's be real. All right.
However, if you don't win, I don't want to say I don't care, but as long as I know that I've done absolutely everything within my power, and I know that I've bought my best package, I actually don't care about the placing. And I'll go into that actually a bit later, because like I said, I won in 2019. However, I didn't win in the same federation this year. But does that mean I didn't progress? Hell no. So we'll go into that. But so the first 10 seconds, like genuine panic. But you've got to think that if they're changing your category, they're doing it for your benefit. They're doing it because you fit a different category better. So at the end of the day, these women that were in athletic figure are the girls that I'd been screenshotting as my wallpaper. These were the women I'd been staring at for the past like however many months. I was now on stage with them. I was blown away. The fact that I had gone within my first competitive season, I'd gone from junior bikini to toned figure to athletic figure in the British finals. You know what? I literally was like, that's class. I'm buzzing. Like I said, these are women that I had honestly looked up to and hoped to be on stage with in the next 2-3 years, not within my first season. So I took it as a massive compliment. I took it as a, wow, you think that I'm able to stand up with these women. But obviously I didn't win. I placed 6th in the finals, but like I said, I actually burst out crying with happiness when they called my name at 6th, because I was just shocked at that. I was like, what?
So that's the thing. So sometimes obviously win, lose or draw, there's always some positives to come out of it. It's all about you drawing on those, right, and just learning from those, right? 100%. So talk to me a little bit about your show at the WNBF UK Supernaturals, because obviously you went on to win your class. Talk to me about that show. What made you decide that you wanted to do the WNBF UK?
So, like I said, for my first season in 2019, I actually didn't know about natural federations, which
Yeah.
sounds so naive. So this season was like in 2021 was always going to be my kind of natty debut.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
for
Nice,
me,
nice.
I
Yeah.
wanted to find my footing. Like I wanted to see where I stood. Like that you know that all different federations, they'll be looking for different things. Like you do have to find the one that suits you sometimes.
100%. Yeah.
And the category, right? So the off season that I've just had, like before prep, it was as good as possible. So this is where I joined Cuba. Joined Team Cuba, and
that's your coach, right?
Yes,
Cuba
yes.
Clean, right?
Yeah, IFBB Pro, and he's honestly changed my life, like in so many ways. You know how you just spoke about routine, that's all down to him. Like I definitely, my mindset, my relationship with myself, with food, my outlook on not just training but life itself has genuinely just drastically changed, and I do have him to thank for a lot of it. But the off season was obviously in my bed. Actually, it was in this room right here. My off season was in this room right here. So I borrowed like a bar and plates, and I bought a bench, and I didn't miss a session. I did what I could with what I could, and tried to build what I could. So going into this prep, like I said, it was to see where I could stand within natural federations. I tried UKDFBA, and I actually went for women's physique within that. However, I did like my routine and all my mandatories, and at the end of that, they then said they wanted me back, but in figure. So they invited me to the finals, but for figure. And I was like, right, well, I did do that. However, for me personally, I was like, I know that I don't fit in it, because again, I was like too lean for the category. But I would rather present my best and how I like to present, rather than trying to fit a criteria, right? So I was like, right, well, I'll see what else there is out there. And obviously WNBF, they have the fit body category. So my aim was to actually do that. However, again, then after doing a few shows, you can't always do what you want. If that makes sense. You do have to just go where you fit. And I'm so glad that I did. I did speak to Steph, and obviously like spoke to my coach just to see where they both thought I would fit. And they said that because of my shape, and because of my muscle age, it's still quite low. Would you say low or small? Young.
Still priming. Yeah.
So they said that I would suit figure better. And I honestly absolutely love that day.
You know what? That's a smart approach that both you and your coach then, approach the federations ahead of time, just to kind of get a better understanding of where you best suit. A lot of people don't plan ahead, just pretty much just land up and then might get shifted on the day. So I think there's a lot of benefits of kind of doing your research to understand the federations.
Yes, so before I obviously went for WNBF, I did speak to Steph just to see where I would fit, because there had just been a bit of up in the air about which category I do fit into. And and me and my coach spoke about it, and with Steph obviously, and she said that I would be most suited for figure. Obviously I'm extremely glad that I went for that, and I loved it. I've never done a show where there's like a mid-morning part and then an evening show, like a pre-judging, and made it a day. Like it made it so much more enjoyable and special, and I think it was so important to do, because it did allow the judges that if you didn't fit in the criteria that you'd first decided to go for, they'd be able to then say, well, in the evening show, can you actually go into that category?
I think it took us back to the traditional bodybuilding shows, right? That is what bodybuilding is really about, having the morning and then the evening shows. Like if you look at the Olympia, etc., that's how they do it, right? So I think if anything, it does make your day a bit more as an athlete worthy, because it feels like you get a hell of a lot more out of your day, and your time and your participation is truly then rewarded for. So I think it worked really well.
It felt like a performance instead of like a cattle shuttle on and then do some turns and then
and then off we go.
Off, and that's it. Like if you in other federations, if you don't win, you're on stage 10 minutes sometimes, and that's
100%, and then you're off. So
you've done 26 week prep, whatever you do, and then you go on stage 10 minutes and it's like, yo, piece done.
But the funny thing at that, what I like about you as well is that you're not shy of stage presence, right? You've been on stage a number of times through dance as well. So did that help you in your preparation going into shows, and having that performance background? Did that help you with that stage confidence to be able to showcase your physique to the maximum that you could?
Yes, definitely. I think what's so is when people do see me backstage, I am like this, like I am just like, boo, let's go. Like I do love being on stage. But let me tell you now, that doesn't mean I don't get nervous. I will be backstage honestly pooing my pants. I'm sitting there like, okay, we're gonna do this. As soon as I step on stage, you fake it till you make it. That is what you've got to do. And you just have to go out there, and like I said earlier, like as long as there is not a single thing that you could have done more within those X amount of weeks beforehand, this is your time to showcase every bit of every single day of every hard work. So why are you gonna let your confidence not shine? Like why are you gonna make that hinder you? This is the time for you to showcase all of that. So shine, like you can't do anything more. Like you've done all the hard work, so there is nothing more that you can do other than showcase it as best as possible. And in all honesty, like I've said right at the beginning, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. I honestly, it boils my blood when I see people and all they do is moan about their prep or moan about like what happened on stage, and they're like, don't do it then. Okay.
I always say to people, you got to fall in love with the process and enjoy every moment of it. If you're not doing that, then you can't whinge. You know what I mean? Like, why are you doing it? If you've got so many negatives about it, why are you doing it? You got to fall in love with that process. And everyone's like, how do you make prep look so easy? Because I just enjoy the whole journey.
Can we pause again? I'm so sorry, I've got
okay, so let's talk back about that win at the Birmingham show. So obviously you won your class, you got the invite to Vegas, but you didn't go, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay, so obviously you still got the title, you didn't go to Vegas. Okay, so what is next for Hannah Mitchell in terms of the next stepping stones?
So I will tell you why I didn't go. In all honesty, this past year, like I have briefly touched on, like this past year has been extremely difficult for not just me, but my family. I mean, I haven't even touched on this, but I was homeless for a period of time. The house that I'm in right now is my own property. However, for 4 weeks, I was living on people's settees and things like that. So It has been a very difficult period of time, especially losing my nan whilst I was in prep.
Yeah.
Because I was in prep, I didn't process it. I buried it. And so post show is definitely something that I had to grieve. And I had to, the whole time I had to be there for my granddad and my mom. So that was one reason why I didn't go. Also, I did a 26-week prep.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, like, I know some men that do like a 12-week prep max.
Yeah.
Right. As a natural, to do a 26-week prep, and my peak off season weight was 78 kilo. I'm 5'8", by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I know it is still heavy, but I am 5'8". My stage weight for WNBF was 58.
Okay.
So that is a lot of,
you
know, I put my body through a lot, and I do bring condition to stage. I don't want to bring anything less.
Yeah.
So to then prep, even though it was only 2 more weeks, mentally and physically, it just wouldn't have been a great idea. I still probably would have pushed through.
Yeah.
However, when I go to Vegas, like, I will go. Like, I'm telling you now, my next season, 2023, I'm gonna come back to WNBF, and I'm gonna try come back for my title. But when I do go to Vegas, I want to go and take it all. Like, that is the reason why I would want to go. I would want to go and be undeniable. So I wasn't disappointed with how I looked this season at all. I was extremely proud. Like I said, the fact that my off season was in this bedroom, I'm extremely proud of the progress that I did manage to make. And I know for a fact there was nothing more that I could have done. However, I still looked at myself this prep and thought, wow, gal, you need a bit more. You need a bit more. So I personally would want to only, like I said, take myself to that next level, being happy with the package that I would bring, and I just feel like I would need more tissue, more time. So next steps for me, I am reversing out of this prep. So I'm 7 weeks post show now, and I'm 6.3 kilo up. I've had a lot of off-plan meals, but I'm in a very good place mentally within my food relationship, which is something that I really had to address with Cuba at the start of things. So I'm really proud of that. I'm already on 3,500 calories training days. So we're in a very good position. I've had my bloods done. All my markers are, even my hormones are in a really good place. The only thing that's slightly raised is my serum urea levels, which let's be honest, being bodybuilders, that's going to be raised anyway because of the protein we have, like intake we have, because these were NHS markers, by the way. But they're like, oh my god, you bodybuild, that's really dangerous. I'm like, okay,
you got to love the NHS when they say bodybuilder and the comments you get, kind of thing.
You go have your 4 bottles of wine a night. No stress.
I think you mentioned something really important that a lot of competitors, and especially first-time competitors and females and males alike, is managing, the post-show, the post-prep with, phases, the reverse dieting, coming out of it. Because often, obviously, a lot of people after their last show, they just go and eat, right? They just want to eat. But there needs to be structure to get you back to normality, right? And I think the importance of reverse dieting needs to come back in. And I think the education piece around that is really important, just to make sure that you manage it and then you come off and you go back and go into your off season in the right direction, because you can very well, of course.
The thing is, what I find found, like, comparing my 2019 like post show to now, is the element of control. What I lacked so much in 2019 was that control. So I still felt extremely restricted coming out of my prep. And because of that, then when I had something off plan, it was a complete like eat everything in sight.
Yeah.
The how we've done it this time round has just been so good for me personally. It's not the route that everyone takes.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that take it a lot more strict.
Yeah.
So for me, what me and Cuba did, I did an off plan every single night for the first 6 days post show. But because I had that food freedom, I would have my on plan meals for the day, and then I'd have an off plan meal on the evening. And because he pushed up my calories straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew that what's the point in being lean? There's zero point in me being lean, except it would hinder my like recovery. It would hinder like me getting my hormones back in a great place.
Yeah.
So we, like I said, pushed the food up straight away, and that having that off-plan meal on the evening as well meant that I was actually going to make good choices. So I wasn't choosing like 4 Dominoes and 20 cookies,
Yeah.
because I was full from us increasing that food initially. I was choosing things like sushi and fajitas and steak even. So it is very difficult, that post-show period, because your ghrelin and leptin hormones, they're gone, they're switched off. So those are the hormones that basically tell you when you're hungry and full. And you have to almost continue to stop listening to them like you did in prep to make sure that you don't put on an excessive amount of weight straight out the gate.
Yeah.
Because I did have, sorry about that, an element of control coming out of prep. That is why we've managed to build my food up to such a good position so quickly. And I am still enjoying social occasions. I still have an off plan every single week. However, I don't think of my off-plan meal as, right, this is my opportunity to eat as much as possible within this time frame because I've been so restricted. That's not how I see it at all. I create it as a social event, and I would rather like organize going out for brunch or even like a date night. I mean, so I would organize it like that as an event, because it's not about the food itself. It's about that social interaction. It's about the fact that you can relax now you're out of prep.
I think a lot of people struggle to, switch off from prep and get back into normal life, right? It's like, how do you balance it? They're still like, can't do this, and they still feel quite, I'm stuck a little bit. But I think even on some of your Instagram posts, I think you had like memories over macros as a title, and I was like, you know what, that again, it goes back with what you just said, all right? You're socializing, so all of those kind of things you got to kind of just see it as an event and just plan accordingly. But at the same time, enjoy it. You live once. You've come out of doing the hard work. You live once. Enjoy it, but just stay balanced and focused. That's all. You know what I mean?
This is the thing. I think because a lot of people do take prep quite differently. But for me personally, I did shut myself off. I was extremely selfish with it. I did socialize from time to time. However, if I was tired at 8 p.m. and I'd met up with them at 7, and they were expecting a whole night out, if I was tired at 8, I'm gone. I'm going. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna hinder the fact that if I stay out the next day, I won't be able to perform my best in the gym. I'll probably be more hungry because I'll be so tired. Like, I'm going home. So coming into your off season, it is the time where you can have late nights and you can give back to the people that were there for you whilst you were being selfish.
100%. I love that. So what advice would you give to any newbies? So female figure athletes coming through or considering it, they're not quite sure if they fit in bikini, figure athletic, what advice would you give next one's coming through.
So yeah, in all honesty, it does not matter the category that you are going for, right? Like we've already touched on, like fall in love with it. And if you don't love it, if you don't wake up and you're not excited about your day, don't do it. Like, honestly, there is 0 point in you doing it, because if you aren't enjoying it, it's going to be 20, 30 times harder. And you're not a failure for not doing it. It's not for everyone. It is an extreme sport. And I think a lot of people forget to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
They think that because they see it on Instagram, it's like the thing that you have to do. No, you don't. You can just go and enjoy your fitness journey. You do not have to compete. But honestly, just learn as much as possible. Take your time with it. Like, there is no rush. Like I said, in your first season, if you don't place, take it as that massive learning experience, because your prep, in all honesty, the getting on stage, yes, it's so much fun to do, but the day itself is so insignificant, in my opinion, compared to how much you learn about yourself within that prep.
Mm-hmm.
That making that decision in 2019 to prep was the best decision I've ever done in my life, because it's not even just taught me about routine and structure. It's taught me about what I can physically and mentally push myself to do. And there's no limits. There are no limits to what I can do.
Yeah.
And that has been what bodybuilding has taught me. And I genuinely think that if you aren't, like I said, if you're not waking up and you're not like, yes, I'm going to smash my cardio today. Like, if you aren't waking up like that, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. Mate, some days I cried through my sessions. I say some days. There was like 2 days. In a 26-week prep, I did have low days. You're going to, because you are fatigued. However, that is an extremely small percent.
Yeah.
Like 10% of your days. Like, you are going to be tired. However, if you're not still excited about the prospect of what those days are going to then move into, then just don't do it.
Man,
you've honestly got to fall in love with that whole process.
Man, I love that, how you summed it up, man. Truly summed it up in the right way. And I think hopefully a lot of people at home, will certainly get some inspiration and some insight off of that, and kind of use that to kind of, make the right decisions going into next season. Because obviously 2022 is going to be a powerful one. I've already seen the natty scenes coming alive with loads of people saying they're going to do this show, that show. So it's going to be a really exciting time on the natural scene. So I'm really keen to see that. And I'm keen to see your return in 2023 for you to
I was just about to say, so
now I've got the markers I'm going to be looking at, and just, following your progress to seeing you back to the stage. But Hannah, thank you so much for being on today's show. It's been an absolute pleasure, hearing of your journey from the start to where you are now and your plans for the future. And we look forward to seeing you on the WNBF UK stage, retaining your title back in 2023.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been so lovely to speak to you about it.
And please keep motivating and inspiring people through your social media channels, because you've got a lot of content. You offer a lot of different services that I think is just truly amazing. So guys, Hannah, tell the guys what your social media handle is, and we'll put it on screen obviously as well.
So you can find me on Instagram. So it's _Hannah's Health. That's not my surname. And then my kind of coaching posing business is _healthy_with_Hannah. And you can find me on there. And if you do have genuinely any questions, like whatsoever, or you just want to chat, like drop me a message. I'm always there. I think it is really important to just talk about anything that is going on in your head. So drop me a message.
100%. Hannah just gave you an invite to fly into her DMs, guys. Hey, I'm just saying. Okay. Well, thank you, Hannah. I just want to say a massive shout out to our sponsors, CNP and Nutrition. And remember, guys, we got our first timer show that is coming up in the 17th of July, 2022. And then we got the big one in Birmingham in October on the 9th. That is the Supernaturals Open Championship. So we've got 2 shows for the WNBF UK next season. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone grace that stage. Hopefully, Hannah, we'll be seeing you at some of these shows. Please come down and support. We like when champions support other champions. So let's keep doing that. All right. And have a great evening. Thanks for being on the show.